All right, Nick. First game of the season. And I got to admit, it feels like we deserve to win. It doesn't mean we're supposed to win. It doesn't mean we're going to win. It just feels like we deserve to win. We've outplayed these folks all game long. The one lone home run they have feels kind of cheap. Here we go. Top 9. Ian Gibaut closing the door. The Prince. God, I can't believe it.
I think if you would have asked me,
man,
I think Ian Gibaut would have been like 7th on my list.
It's remarkable that we're here.
Maybe he has incredible numbers against Willie Adames. I don't know.
I don't think so. I think this is just a feel thing. I think this is like, hey, we think this guy's got it in him to do it. He's pitched for Great Britain before.
All right.
This is why baseball is elite, because there's no real sport that can build drama in the way in which a baseball game can when you care about it a lot. You know, like it's just the moments in between the pitches become very anxious. Would have been really cool to punch him out right there, Mr. Umpire. Two, on its way.
Sit down.
And Willie Adames is down on strikes. Wow.
That's 3.
I know. He's had a tough day today, but you know how Willie is. I'm not going to say nothing bad about him.
That was a pretty good pitch to hit.
Yeah. Dropped down to the knee, too.
I mean, he fooled him. Whew. Man.
All right. Let's get another one. Come on. Good pitch. All right. It's been a minute. Two strikes. I'll tell you what, if Gibaut's going to be the closer, I think I'm going to have to go to Burger King and get a crown. Come on. Punch him. Punch him out. Nope.
Trace, how was your off season?
Busy.
Oh, come on. Matt Chapman on deck?
I'm just worried about the next pitch. Make him hit it at least, right? Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Make him hit it. Oh, Tito. Hopefully them veneers are hanging in tough.
I'll put a little chapstick on.
Oh.
This guy's a 2-strike hitter. The entire mood of Cincinnati hangs on the shoulders of Ian Gibaut.
Is Candelario still playing third?
Oh.
Yes?
I don't know.
Did I miss any
I don't know how to watch
replacements?
baseball with one screen in front of me.
Yeah.
I am so out of my element.
I know. It is kind of wild how it's just not normal to do
so
like
used
this.
to.
Yeah. Yeah, we could use a double play. Let's do that. Come on. Roll over a ground ball. You can do it. You can do it.
Blake Dunn is in the game at left field, but
Okay.
that's the only sub that the Reds made.
Okay.
Kind of a Somewhat surprising.
Well, maybe they think that Candelario has had a good day at the plate, and he's coming up, I believe. Double play. No. Second base. All right. I can't believe this is where we are. Oh. This is kind of like the nightmare. Isn't it?
Double play. It's double
play. You're right. That's it. Double play.
All
double
day
play,
you've been
baby.
asking for a double play.
Come on. Double play.
That's 3 batters. Pull them.
Double play. One pitch, and we're out of here.
Greene saying, Gibaut?
Come on, bro. Make a good pitch. Make a good pitch, and let's get out of here. All right. That's one of them. Can the guy on first run at all? No. No. I don't think he can.
Pretty average, I think.
Yeah, I don't think he can. All right, come on. Come on. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? FanDuel Sports.
Reverse jinx. This is a reverse jinx.
No, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that.
Wow.
I'm in the middle of locking in pitches, and we're trying to throw instant replays on an 0-2. Come on, Ian. Yes, sir. Sit down! Let's go! Woo! We need one more. Come on. Not out of here yet. Oh, what a pitch, by the way. That's frame. Is that a frame job, by the way? I want to know. I want to know. I'm serious.
I mean, that was clearly a ball with Tyler on the dish.
I know. I'm not going to go that far. I'm just saying. Just food for thought. Let's find a way to get this one. Come on. Thank you, Trevino.
Another one.
I wouldn't say that. Tyler would have caught that, too.
At least you don't have to sweat him, right?
Maybe. I don't know. I've not seen the guy catch enough, but.
Yeah.
All right. Let's make a pitch. Come on. That's the last thing I need to see. Who decided to take that cut?
Oh.
It's a ball. It's a ball. A little low and out. Now, I know we all know this, but we don't need to groove a fastball on 2-0. We're allowed. We got a base open at second. I'm not saying we walk them, but we definitely don't throw them here. Did he go? No? Okay. One pitch at a time. One pitch at a time. Damn, we're going to bring in Sam Mull in a bases loaded spot.
Not against Wilmer Flores. He has massive splits, so Gibaut's were definitely.
He's got this guy in
the next for sure.
3-0. Green light. Holy smokes, man. Holy smokes.
I don't want to know where that pitch was.
It was right down the middle. Did you see it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we're behind, so I don't want to pull up Gamecast.
Oh, yeah, you can't.
I don't want to spoil anything.
I mean, they're already leaving the gates at Great American probably.
Hopefully.
All right, we got to get this last out.
All right, well.
Get this last out and walk it off.
Casey, is there any way to get sound on the TV?
Probably without us. I don't know.
Don't need a lot. Just that little bit kind of helps.
This is a big out, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
Let's not give in here.
Next batter's a lefty.
We need this out bad. He's throwing pitches that are, I mean, I'm not trying to be rude, but they are very hittable. Is that how many times is he throwing that little slider or cutter or whatever we call it? Is that the only pitch we've thrown? We got a fastball high here. Yeah.
It's a sweeper.
Sweeper, is that what it is? Okay. Seems like that's his go-to. Please. No.
Oh my
That's a
God.
home run.
Oh.
Shout out to the guy that threw that ball back. It's bouncing through the infield right now. Yeah. Dominated this game, by the way. We really did dominate this game. And that's what we have right now.
I just don't know why he didn't use Mole if he's available in the 8th. He had 2 lefties due up, and then use Santion in the 9th against the heart of the order.
Yeah, I mean
I don't get it.
I don't get it either, if we're being honest, because this guy, with all due respect to Ian Gibaut, he's not thrown in many high leverage spots at all in a long ass time. Long time, dude. Well, I think the take that I had about Tito not getting any hell no matter what is going to change.
That's a good way to maybe
opening day. He's already under the fucking gun, brother. I mean, he is.
10 minutes in.
He's
10 minutes in for the first F-bomb of Chatterbox Reds.
I'm sorry.
Oh, man. What a season.
It's a kid's show. I'm sorry.
Oh, God.
What do you want me to do? I've been grinding my butt off. We did a 4-hour show before the game.
Oh, my God. I can't believe that.
Just watch.
Can't even hear anything. It's just it's silent. Watching the death in front of my eyes.
Yeah, it's a funeral.
Oh, man.
It's a funeral.
Oh. Well, I guess Gibaut's topic number 1 now. Thanks, Keith. All right, well. Oh, man.
I mean, there has to be some questions about what was the process in the post game, right? Like someone's gonna have to ask the question.
I mean, it was left, right, left in the 8th.
And to be fair, Big Tone did mow him down. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he
But it's not like that was their best hitter. That's 8-9-1.
I'm not.
I don't understand it. And Sam.
Yeah, I mean Sam Olmo.
I still would have probably gone Rodgers over Mole, but either one,
They got 6 hits.
All right, well let's rally.
They got 6 hits and 6 runs.
God Almighty.
Dominated these guys. 2 swings.
CES Fraley probably pinch hit for Trevino. Hurtubise.
I don't know.
Maybe Espinal pinch hits for Trevino.
The pinch hitters on this team aren't going to be world beaters.
That's another thing we didn't really think about too with like this bench is like there is no pop on the bench.
No power.
Like the bench today wins Espinal, Dunn, Hurtubise. Dunn has a little bit, but
yeah.
I mean, there's no one you can bring off the bench to get lucky and run into.
Yeah, like
one.
Reese Hines.
And they already used Dunn. Yeah.
Yeah, like Reese Hines is probably the only guy that I would say if you were trying to have that, you'd put him in there. You're still lottery ticketing.
I mean, somehow you get lucky and you get CS and Fraley on. You may just want to roll with Trevino. Like he actually probably has the most power out of anyone.
Yeah.
Out of the options.
Well, and I hate to be this way, but you really don't want to take him out of the game too much from.
Well, I mean, you're kind of in a do or die situation right now.
I know, but I'm just saying, like,
yeah.
How much of a difference is Espinal and
if you
Trevino?
If like he's your last out, I think you pinch it Hurtubise or Espinal, and the guy that probably has a better chance of getting on base to extend the game.
Fair. That's fair.
But if it's, if he's the tying run, I think you take your chances with him.
Yeah, I mean, you're still.
Hopefully, we have something to talk about.
Gasping for straws right now. Yeah.
Jesus.
All right. Ian Gibaut. Did that clip him? Did it clip him, Casey? Okay, he's asking for it. Are we reviewing it or not? No? You can review that, right?
Yeah. See, yes, come on, man.
Yeah, bro.
We need a race for hunters.
Yeah.
He's had a great day, too.
Yeah, he's had a great day.
Sucks when it down 3 runs in the ninth.
Yeah. Swinging at a ball a foot outside. Get through. Throw it away. If he's saying the ball hit him, then why didn't he ask to challenge it? Or why didn't he
Stop the game,
stop?
or- yeah,
And it almost looked like he did stop the game. So I'm not trying to keep jumping on the guys in the dugout, but like,
What do you have to lose?
yeah, I'd walk out there and be like, we want to challenge it. Fraley changed bats. I ain't gonna do it. All right, down to our last out. I'm glad we can break barriers here for the Reds. Well, he gets on base, doesn't he, Nick?
On base machine. Well,
Just got to get one more guy on base, man.
Wouldn't mind Elly batting second.
Didn't feel good. Just find a way to get on base, TJ. Get through there. Yes, sir. Just give it to the next guy. Come on, Matt. What a tease. All right. We got an intro. We're going to do a show. Simple as that.
Johnny Bench is tying it up. The Cincinnati Reds win the World Series in 4 straight. It was a sweep.
In the dirt, it's a wild pitch. Here comes Foster. The Reds win the pennant.
Perkins won the game.
That ball is fair. Cincinnati's ahead. 2 games to none.
Welcome Joe Aranda to Cincinnati. Adam Dunn has done it again. Benzinger backing and calling. And the 1990 World Championship belongs to the Cincinnati Reds.
Marty, yes. This is Adam from Milwaukee. Hey, Adam, how you doing? I'm good. How are you? Good. Do you think Scott Chatterbox is a good player?
Dunn up there with the bases loaded, the outfield deep and around toward right, and the 1-0 on the way to the plate. Swung on, long drive, right field, and this one belongs to the Reds.
And a high drive. Hit back into deep right field. Junior has just knocked the door down to the 500 club.
Benson's first home run is a walk-off winner. That ball had a family.
And De La Cruz is, oh my goodness, look at this kid run. My, oh my, that is a triple.
Matt McClain's first big league bomb.
Spencer Steer's first big league hit is a home run to straightaway center field. Joey Votto's done it again.
The pitch. Votto swings high in the air. Right field. Yes! He pointed to the dugout to say, I told you. That is Joey Votto's 315th career go-ahead ribby. Only Johnny Bench had more as a Red.
And I can't tell you how much it means to play in front of everyone here in Cincinnati as a Red. What a gift. What a tremendous gift. So thank you. Thank you.
I think I can speak for all of Reds country. Joey Votto, thank you.
High drive. Left center field. Racing back to the wall. Bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions. In the air, left center field. Did he? He did! He did! Red win! Line to the right field. Junior!
All right, welcome into the opening day edition of Chatterbox Reds, and I just want to get this off and out of the way. If you are ever feeling down or in a spot in your life where you think that you need some assistance, you can always text and or call 988-24-7 and mantherapy.org as well. If you're ever in a spot where you feel like perhaps things just continue to not go your way and you need a little bit of help. This is a game that the Reds, for the most part, in my opinion, dominated. And I know that perhaps somebody might look at the box score and argue differently, but they had timely hitting to begin the game. They found ways to manufacture some runs. They got good production out of a decent part of their lineup, and they got an incredible start from Hunter Greene. And it's almost as if when you do the pregame shows, you do the shows right up until opening day, and you talk about all the different types of things that this team is and what you hope that they could possibly be and where things could go wrong. It's almost as if this game was the exact copy of what has been discussed in Reds fandom all year long. Now, again, as I've said before, and I'm going to continue to say it, if they were to win this game, there would be a significant amount of population of our fan base that were going to act as if nothing was wrong and we're going to go to the World Series. And if they were to lose this game, we're in a spot now where everybody's going to feel as if this is exactly how it's going to go all year long. I'm going to do my best not to get myself wrapped up in what I just watched over the past 2.5 hours, but it's hard not to when you do these post-game shows. And it's hard to really get into, I guess, the nuts and bolts of the decision-making that Tito ultimately made down the stretch there with the bullpen that we'll get into in just a moment. I'd ask you how you're doing, Nick. You're sitting right next to me. I know how you're doing. You haven't said a word in the last 15 minutes, and I think you're either in a state of shock or you're dead, one of the two. I'm trying to figure out which of those it is. And just say welcome in. This is the start of what is a 2025 season we all hope goes better than the day.
Well, it's good to be back. Man, that sucked. 10 minutes can change your entire mood for the whole till Saturday at 4:10, right? I mean, that was just as brutal of a loss as you could have on opening day. There was some I don't get it. It's not second guessing because we were doing a live stream. I said at the time, why would you not use a lefty here? It worked out great because Santillan mowed down the Giants lefties in the 8th, but it just, I guess, set you up.
It doesn't make any damn sense. Let's just be honest about it. We don't need to try to sugarcoat it. Terry Francona knows more about baseball than I've ever, known. I'm not going to sit here and act as if, but there's things that you can't logically explain, and maybe it was a feel thing. I don't know. My biggest gripe with the whole thing is that there's a lot of guys with question marks in this bullpen. I guess we'll start really on that, and I know that we have Hunter. We'll get to Hunter in just a second, but we'll start with Gibaut and Tito here really fast. It's obviously the lead story, what's going to be the lead story. My main problem with all of it is that you put a guy out there that has not been in any meaningful moments and in stressful environments while throwing a pitch in an incredibly long time. I mean, spring training wasn't even great for him. And then you add on the fact that he hadn't thrown at all last season for the most part. And then you put him in a spot where, this isn't an easy – not that there's ever an easy save, but being up 3 runs against 7, 8, 9 or 6, 7, 8 or something like that in an order, that's a little bit that's a little more understanding of a spot to put a guy in to try to save maybe his first game of the season. But that's not the case. I mean, it was the opposite of that. A 1-run game. Some of your better hitters coming up to the plate.
It just sucks that we're talking about the bullpen after Scott Barlow, Emilio Pagan, and Tony Santillan could not have been any better.
No.
They were perfect.
They were.
Each guy struck out 2 batters. They were dominant. And now we're talking about the bullpen. It's just, man, it was the worst case. It was the worst fear that I had coming into opening day, and it reared its head on opening day, but you don't even really feel like it necessarily was as bad of it. Like, it wasn't the kind of disaster you imagined happening. No. You didn't expect 3 guys to come out and mow it down and then have Ian Gibaut. I think I would have thought Brett Suter might throw the 9th inning over Ian Gibaut.
You could make the case for it. I mean, at the end of the day, he's not thrown a baseball in how long? I mean, it's an absurd amount of time. Now, backtracking to the whole thing, what makes it the most disappointing for me is just the way in which this game went. They for the most part, dominated this game. I would even argue that the ball, and I asked at the time, how hard was the ball hit that Hunter Greene gave up, and I guess we'll jump to Hunter now, is I didn't even feel like Hunter Greene got hit hard in the home run that he hit. It felt like a cheap home run at Great American Ballpark. It went out. It was, 1 row, 2 rows in right field stands. He was absolutely dominating. He gives up 2 runs, and then you find yourself in a 3-2 ball game. The offense goes stale a little bit. But for the most part, the Reds offense, it is who they were. They didn't underperform by any stretch of the imagination. That is sports, and that is baseball, and it's baseball at the professional level. Like, the margins are not that big. At the end of the season, right, the Reds are going to either make or miss the postseason, maybe by at the most 8 games. So if you're out by 8 games, that's 4 games that could have gone the other way, and you'd have found yourself on the other 8-game swing, right? They all matter. I know that people say, oh, it's only one of 162. They all matter. We've done this for 2 years in a row now where you watch every single one. Certainly there's going to be over the course of 162, Nick, where you're either going to just win games and you're going to lose them. And there's a certain population of those games in the middle. This is one of those games in the middle. I hate to say that on opening day, but this game was right there in the balance, and you could have won it. And instead, you weren't able to capitalize and find a way to win. And I know people are going to blame obviously Ian Gibaut. And I had said pregame that I don't think Tito could do almost anything wrong without getting blamed from this fan base. And sure enough, there it is, right there off the bat. Worst take of the season. Because I do think people are going to be upset at the decision making that Tito made down the stretch of the game. Probably
like the only scenario where he actually could get a ton of heat. And I have no issue with Ian Gibaut. Look, he struggled as his first game that mattered, that he had pitched in over 2 years. Which, to your point, why was that the 9th inning of opening day? Yeah. I still can't wrap my head around it. But I guess we move on to Hunter Greene. He was great. Yes. 15 swing and misses. He was pumping in heat early. I think 6 pitches in the first inning, over 100 miles per hour. I was a little surprised they pulled him at 84, I think was the number, after we were debating in the 5th. Yeah. And he kind of got that last out quickly. I was like, maybe we'll give another inning. Look, I don't have any criticism on that because you have to manage workloads early in the year. The Giants pulled their starter just as early as the Reds did, and look, I just have to trust that they have the knowledge on that. I just will never understand Gibaut. It's really hard to think anything else. I mean, I guess Gavin Luck's base running error ended up being pretty costly. Kind of at the time. Well, the Reds already had, they were up I think 3-0 at the time. It didn't feel as big, but it did end up becoming pretty costly. And Lux had some great at-bats today. But that was just a really brutal situation to get thrown out. You kind of had Logan Webb a little bit on the ropes, and maybe you could have put this game away early.
Yeah, I will try to give the benefit of the doubt at certain times to certain players that perhaps are new here. Gavin Lux, maybe he's never had a guy running in front of him like Elly De La Cruz, where you got a guy at second base, he's on first base, Gavin Lux is. Ball gets hit into right field. Gavin Lux maybe is assuming there's going to be a play at the plate, and then therefore in hopes that ball is going to go to the plate. That's why he's headed to third. It's totally Gavin Luck's call there. I know that some people might say, what's J.R. House doing sending him? J.R. House is waving home Elly De La Cruz. He's not, he doesn't have enough time to wave home Elly and then also simultaneously let Gavin know what's going on. The play was in front of Gavin. He's got to have a little bit better feel for understanding that they're not going to throw the ball home to try to get Elly De La Cruz in that spot because Elly already scored. That's how fast Elly is. So it was a bad mistake. Maybe it's a mistake that Lux can learn from. The problem with Lux and what he may or may not realize is that this is the same song and dance that the Reds fans have felt from last season. So he's not going to get a huge pass there like, he's new, he's learning. Maybe he didn't understand Elly's that fast. I don't know. But it did feel like the same old when it came to making that out at third base, largely because it wasn't even close, right? You can make the case that you're trying to get to third base with 1 out. It's a bang-bang play. You can kind of feel understandable there, but he's out by 10 feet. So tough spot, and ultimately at the end of the day, the last inning isn't the only part of the game, as we all know. There's 9 innings to try to score, but ultimately, the last 2 minutes of a game in any other sport in the last inning of baseball is going to be magnified. And I have a hard time believing when I, go to sleep tonight, if I think back upon this game, it's really just going to always come down to the execution there in the 9th inning and why you couldn't get the job done, and really the decision on why you had 2 left-handed hitters coming up in the 8th inning, and you decided not to go with one of your 2 relatively good left-handed relievers.
And they probably would have pinch hit for both of those guys. I know they would have pinch hit for Lamonte Wade Jr. He's a straight platoon player, as platoon of a player as there possibly is in the sport, but just seemed like still, at least make them get those guys out of the game. I don't know. I don't really understand that. And one of my other worst fears coming to the season is that there'll be a game where Elly De La Cruz is left in the on-deck circle, and I got it on opening day. So I don't like him batting third either. I really don't.
Yeah. Listen, all the things that perhaps we have disagreed with and certain small things that, as to why you should do this or that, they reared their head again, I guess, today a little bit. It's over the course of 162. I sit here and I tell myself that, ultimately this call could shake out and it could be a net positive. I know that sounds crazy, but I guess if I was a reporter, the main question I have for Tito is like, did you go to Gibaut knowing that was the guy that you trusted the most in the bullpen? Because maybe he saved him for last on purpose. Meanwhile, we're thinking that he trusted Pagan the most, he trusted Tony Santillan the most, and that wasn't the truth. He trusted, maybe he trusted, I don't know why you would trust Ian Gibaut the most, but maybe he did. It does beg the question now that, who's going to step up in that role? Because it's going to have to end up be closer by committee, but let's face it, someone's going to have to kind of grab the bull by the horn here and be that guy. Maybe it's going to be Graham Ashcraft, maybe to be Santillan, but it's just wild. It's wild to think that Ian Gibaut got the ball in the 9th inning in a 1-run game for the Reds when he's been absent for as long as he's been.
Let me say this. I don't necessarily mind the idea of, especially when you're in the spot the Reds currently are where they don't have a set closer, I don't mind using your best arms first in a close game. I don't mind using Scott Barlow. If Barlow, Santillan, and Pagan were the 3 arms you felt the best about today, I don't have a problem using them first and saving whoever for the 9th, because you could, in theory, add on, and then that 9th inning is not nearly as much pressure as those other innings. I've always been a fan of that. It's just the fact that you had a spot in the 8th inning with lefties. That's the thing that I just can't understand. If it had been all right-handed batters and they just went all out and they saved whoever left in the 9th, I don't think I would have as much of an issue. It's just the way that it shook out. I can't understand that specific logic in this one. But yeah, it just... You talked about outplaying him. It's not just the leading the whole game, that kind of stuff. Right. You look at hard hit balls. The Reds had, I think, 12 hard hit balls to the Giants, 6. Right. Expected batting average for the Giants was 127 to the Reds, 245. The Reds had better swings all day long. The Reds pitched better all day long. And, man, Logan Webb is a great pitcher. We talked about it before we went live earlier today. 5th in baseball and wins above replacements since 2021. He's an elite pitcher, and to have beat him, to have had him beat on opening day, that's just what stings the most. But it is 101-62. The guy that can make us all forget about everything to an extent is Nick Lodolo on Saturday. And I don't know. This one just sucks, Trace.
Yeah, it's tough to do shows like this because we're fans just like everybody else, and you're sitting here and you're trying to provide some realistic, rational thoughts about, the game itself and what you just watched. And the truth of the matter is it's gut-wrenching when, I get it. It's just one game. I understand that completely. But when you build up to a season, opening day, it means a little bit more, certainly. But at the same time, you have to win these games when you're provided the margins that the Reds are going to be provided to try to make the postseason. And I'm saying the postseason, I'm bringing up the postseason on the very first day. It might sound ludicrous, but they're not going to run away with this division by 5 or 6 games. And if they miss the postseason and they have a good year, it's going to be by a game or 2. And yes, You're going to probably sneak some out and steal some games that you're not supposed to win this year. But as I mentioned on the pregame, I just feel like this team has to get off to a relatively decent start, and some of these guys that weren't supposed to maybe be as good as some others are saying, they get off to a decent start and they can fool themselves into thinking that they can be that person. And now it's all of a sudden, when we turn the ball over to somebody in a one-run game again in the 9th inning, I hate to say it, but this thought in my mind or in the Reds' mind will creep out a little bit. Now, whether or not they can curb it, we'll find out. But to think that when they go into another one-run game in the 9th inning, it's clearly a reason as to why closers are paid a little bit more, and we found that out today. Because if you can turn it over to somebody and they can close the door down, it makes it a lot easier to manage a game. So positives, bright spots, although it's really tough to do this. Candelario looked good at the plate. That was a positive. It was nice to see. Didn't have a ball hit to him. Did not have a single ball hit to him, which was also a positive. Elly looked like Elly. Matt McLean, obviously, he struggled a little bit today. I thought Lux had some good at-bats. Really, there wasn't anybody on this roster outside of Steer that I'm overly concerned about, and Steers was on the injured list, 3 or 4 days ago. So it's hard for me to sit here and say that might not be some of the factor with the way that he looked. Austin Hayes, hopefully he's back here relatively soon and can provide a little bit depth to this lineup, Nick. But it honestly overall was a really good day, just marred out by one terrible inning.
Everything was great except for the 9th inning. I mean, it would have been a clean, well played game that just made you feel really good on opening day.
TJ Friedl, great.
The lineup produced against a really good pitcher.
Yeah.
There was no defensive lapses. The pitching was dynamite through the first 8 innings. And this Giants team is a very similar team to the Reds. They have a lineup that's not terrible, but there's not a lot of big stars. They're decent lineup, not great. They have really good starting pitching, and they had some bullpen questions too. And it's one game doesn't mean a whole lot, right, but it's a measuring stick. And the first test you failed at the very last second, and man, that part of it stinks.
Yeah, TJ Friedl had a really good day as well. Nice to see. Hurtubise comes in the game. He finds a way to get on base. But it's just Reds fan. I mean, we're all Reds fans. We understand what this can be at times, and it's a painful experience. And it sucks that this is the first show. If it's your first time watching, we do them after every single game. We'll be back here Saturday. We'll be there Sunday night, and therefore all next week. And hopefully this kind of subsides, and we laugh about this at the end of the season. But it's going to be tough. Another tough, whatever it is, 36 hours until the Reds get to play again, or 48 hours. I don't know the exact number in the top of my mind right now. But where else do we go from here?
Is this how Cubs fans felt for like a week and a half coming back from Tokyo?
I would assume so.
We got 48 hours of it.
Yeah, maybe so. I'm at a loss for words, and typically that's not the case for me. And obviously we're a little bit out of our element doing the studio show today. So maybe when we get back into our own little groove, I'll be able to kind of collect my thoughts. But I sit here and I'm trying to come up with a justified answer for something that is completely unjustified with what we just watched.
Yeah. The only other thing we were talking about during the 9th inning, that's something I really hadn't thought about till you actually see how the game plays out, is one concern with the Reds bench is that there is literally no power whatsoever on the bench. I don't think it'll be that way the whole year, but just the way that the opening day bench worked out with Austin Wynn, Santiago Espinal, Blake Dunn, and Jacob Hurtubise, you don't really give yourself a whole lot of chances to get lucky and hit a 3-run home run in the 9th inning, or even a 2-run home run in the 9th inning. So that's kind of something that I guess is just a little bit more of a concern, that sometimes you don't think about these things till you actually get to see what it looks like in a game situation.
Yeah. No. Well, I mean, we get to play more baseball. That's the positive. Typically if it's your first time watching, these shows can go anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes. Who knows how long on any given night. On a day like today, it feels like I have absolutely ran out of topics of what to talk about. I don't want to sit here and bash the same thing over and over again. Again, Tito Francona, Hall of Fame manager for a reason. We all make mistakes, I guess. I don't even want to give him an out. I really don't, Nick. Like, there's times where I can say, hey, maybe you could justify this for that, or why you would want to do this or what of that. And let's face it, Gibaut was one pitch away from getting out of that whole thing, and he would have gotten the final out. We probably wouldn't have spent 15 minutes talking about the decision to put Gibaut in there, and we'd be like, oh man, Gibaut, he's got the Alexis Diaz thing, but you know what? He got him out when it mattered, and he didn't. But that's sports, and now we sit here and we're gonna have to figure out what the hell we're doing, putting in Ian Gibaut in the 9th inning, and that's really the baseline of this show. It'll be the lead story tomorrow. Should be the lead story. Should be the main questions asked in the postgame. I'd assume that's what they're asking, and maybe we'll get a better answer to make me feel better for tomorrow. But the only thing that's going to make me feel better, Nick, is when we play next, and that is Saturday, which is kids' opening day. So maybe they'll do it for the kids.
Yeah, Saturday, 4:10, Reds Giants. It'll be Nick Lodolo. Lodolo looked fantastic at the end of the spring. He had his last start, I think he had 17 swing and misses in his final start in spring training. I have high hopes for Nick Lodolo. I think this is the kind of lineup with some lefties, not a ton of just right-handed thumpers. Willie Adames is actually a guy who hits second that also has reverse splits, so like he would have been the 4th hitter in the 8th inning, which just makes me more unbelievably wondering what the hell. But this is, I think, a solid matchup for Lodolo, and the Reds will get to go up against Justin Verlander, making his San Francisco Giants debut. He's dealt with a lot of injuries, was not very good last year, but it was such an injury-riddled season, so you just don't want to start 0-2, Trace, right? I mean...
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to dig a hole too deep here, obviously, to start the season off, and like, the Giants are a good team. The Giants are a good team. It's not about whether or not they're not a worthy opponent to lose to, but when you have somebody beat and you trust the fact that you should have beat them, that was today. Simple as that. So before we go, I just want to say thank you for watching this show. We very much appreciate it. There will be the post-game comments tomorrow morning on the podcast. You'll probably be able to hear maybe even some farther discussion about the comments made, why the decisions were made. I don't know why they were made, but I'm sure tomorrow on the podcast that you can get each and every single morning. It's a little bit different than this show. It's clipped up a little bit different. Nick does a great job on that. So if you've not already, please go download the podcast and like this stream, share this with friends, and we're hopeful that we can continue to create a community that people care about and watch the 9th inning, and then therefore the post game after every single game with us. So it was a tough day. No other way to put it. The Reds fall 6-4. And until next time, we will see you on Chatterbox Reds this coming Saturday. Take care, everybody.